Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Books on Fire podcast, where we feature an interview with an outstanding and award winning independently published author every Tuesday of the month. I'm Rita Mills.
And I'm Sandy Lawrence. And here at Books on Fire, we will be interviewing independently published authors who have written outstanding work across multiple genres. All authors being spotlighted right now on the Books on Fire are those who won or came in as a gold recipient of the 2024 Fire Book Award. They're independently published and they're either finalists, honorable mention, or winners of those awards for last year.
Our first author interview will focus on some of the finalists in the 2024 Fire and Ember Book Awards. We realize that the title of the award may be a bit confusing, as we have basically two different levels of the award. The fire part of the award is for the current year or 2024, those books published in 2024. The Ember Awards is for the finalists or those that were published between 2019 and 2023.
And our guest author today is Russell Little, who was the grand prize winner of the 2024 Fire Book Award.
I'm so
Russell.
glad to be here. I got to tell you, when you announced it, it took my breath away. I was shocked.
Wow.
So grateful.
So, Russell, first of all, the title of your book is
Murder by Storm.
Murder by Storm. The first one was Murder for Me. And then this is the second one. And it's in a series, right?
Yes, it is.
So, Murder by Storm. So, tell us a little bit about that book.
Well, there's multiple things I can say. In Murder by Storm, it's the continuing battle between O.C. Sims, who is this comical detective that thinks he knows it all, and this woman named Marilyn that I've lived in my mind with for 10 years. It's always two chess moves ahead of him. And it's their battle. And one of the things after Murder for Me, my readers just bombarded me with, why is she the way she is? What made her be that way? And how does she do it? And so I had to explain in the next book who Marilyn really was and how she did what she did. And it was hard work because I had to write from a woman's perspective, not from a man's, because I had to write about Marilyn, right? And so it was a lot of work. It was the intellectual challenge of the book for me to do it and do it right. And I think by the time you read it, you'll say, okay, I might have been that way too. I get it.
Really?
But there's a whole different part of the book, which is this battle between these two goes on during a hurricane. And it really was from the experience of going through Harvey that creeped toward Houston for 2 weeks. And everyone in Houston knew it was coming for 2 weeks. And then it got to Houston and it stopped. And it sat on top of Houston for 5 days before it drifted away. Drifted is really the right word. And the things that I saw, and if you two rode through that too, what you saw things that you would have to see to believe they were true. And I wanted to write about those things. Things like that you would see physically, like manholes blowing off and water spewing up 2 stories high. You can't imagine that. Or the other side of that is people risking their lives to save or help complete strangers. They didn't care what race they were, their religion, their beliefs. And that's so, in the world we live in now, that's a very, both, you would think, naive thing to think would happen, and a wonderful thing at the same time. And really, the things I did to help people during Harvey really changed my life. So
And
I
Russell,
want,
you were. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you were like right in the middle of it because you lived right where they were bringing all of the people that didn't have a place to go, or their house was flooded, or whatever reason they had to leave. They were bringing them right there to the George R. Brown where you lived.
right. And I would walk during the hurricane, while the hurricane was going on. I'd walk across the park every day and serve the people that would be brought in every day, thousands of people. And you remember what it was like. These people were soaked, they lost everything, their homes were destroyed, and trying to get them settled down, dry, fresh clothes, some sort of facade sense of privacy. Because when you're in the hall of thousands, but you're completely distraught, you need some sort of, at least to pretend to yourself, privacy. And for 5 days, I did that. And then as the hurricane creeped away, I spent weeks helping complete strangers. And one of the things about Houston is that people come here to work. So there's a lot of people here. They don't have family. They don't really have many friends except maybe some work friends. And we would go into these houses where these people would be sitting there in their destroyed homes, no one to help them. They don't know what to do. And we'd go in, gut the house, get it ready for repairs, and then go to the next. And they were so grateful. And it was so life-changing. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life, a hurricane, believe it or not. And I wanted to write about all of that too. The terribleness and the goodness of people and Mother Nature. And I put all that in there too. And I got to say, I guess because I've been a lawyer too long, as I would move around during the hurricane, the things that struck me is things like, there's no police anywhere because the police were busy.
Uh-huh.
And there is nothing to wipe away DNA evidence like floodwater, because there's nothing nastier than floodwater. It's the
Yeah.
nastiest thing there is. And so I put all that in it too, and to get the book that I wanted to get.
Wow. So you were really able to just share your experiences with Harvey by putting them in this book, Murder by Storm.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't realize that. That's awesome. Because I do remember all the work that you were doing and places you were going and helping people and bringing things for them and new exchange of clothes and sheets and all the stuff you were doing at the George R. Brown and other places, by the way. So that was an awesome thing for you and for a lot of people. Like you say, that was a good time for people to really share. Those that had and didn't lose everything to be able to share with those that did. So that was definitely a critical time in our city. So great. I didn't realize that you shared. That's what was the basis for this book. So I'm excited about it.
And I'm a planner, not a pantser. I have to outline everything out. I don't see how anyone can pants a murder thriller. I don't see how you do that, because you got to know where you're going on everything. But as I would write this, and the characters would start, especially with Marilyn, who is the antagonist in this book. As I was writing and getting deeper into her character, and she became more dimensional, especially in my own mind, the character started doing and saying things that weren't in the outline. And so I had to keep re-outlining because the characters would do what I wanted. And I actually there's a dog in this book. And what they say about animals taking over books or taking over movies? is kind of true because the dog became a much bigger star in the book than I ever expected him to.
Yeah,
I,
they say if you want to sell books, put a dog on the cover.
I guess I should have. I got to tell you this. So, Rita, my 15-week-old retriever, and I were sitting outside a cigar bar having a cigar this morning. And this guy walked by with an all black, except gray on his chin, German Shepherd, incredibly obedient. And he stopped and we started talking. I said, I have a dog that looks just like that, except a little older in my book. And he was like, so we talked a little bit about it. And of course, the dog in my book is a retired police dog that grows attached to a little girl.
but as obedient as this guy's, or was his dog as obedient as yours in the
It
book?
was, this dog was stunning. This guy was way too compulsive about his training of this dog. This was an incredibly obedient dog. The dog in my book is a retired police dog that grows very, very attached to a little girl. And he's not as obedient as he is protective.
Got it. Got it.
That's the way they're supposed to be. That's what they're trained for.
Yes.
Well, we have one dog in our house that's pretty obedient, but it's not one of the little ones, it's the big one. So
Those others aren't dogs, they're chihuahuas. Those aren't dogs. Those are
only two of them. One of them is a terrier. So.
And I used to have little bitty, I call them squirrels. I used to have Yorkies. We raised Yorkies as we raised our children. And so when we got this retriever, I was like, I want a real dog this time. I don't want a squirrel. And that's why we got it. And now I regret it a little bit because she gains about a pound every 3 days. She's growing so fast. So
she definitely, invisibly, because I saw her when you had her on Opera Talk a couple of weeks ago, and she looked a lot bigger than that now. So.
She is a lot bigger. She's hard. I used to carry her in one arm. Now I have to carry her like this. In a couple of weeks, I won't be carrying her at all.
No, you won't. You won't.
You know what you say about, a storm can be life altering. That's amazing. I went through a flood when I was like in the second grade in West Texas, and that radically changed my life back then. And I was only in the second grade. And then when Hurricane Katrina come through, my husband was at home in hospice care, and we had the Weather Channel on 24/7, listening to that same song over and over and over. And right after he died was when Katrina hit, and then Rita come right in behind it, and just basically destroyed my entire life at that point.
That's what storms do, right?
Yeah.
They destroy and change.
Exactly.
And that is exactly what I put in the book. Not only about how humans help other people when in need, but also how those storms destroy people's lives. And it makes for a great background for a murder thriller as they chase across the city trying to kill each other.
Is your book in audio?
It's not yet. Audio is very complicated that I've found, and I'm still working on it. It should be in audio. The trouble is, I can't read it myself because nobody can listen to this West Texas raspy voice for a whole book. I couldn't. It wouldn't be. You couldn't use me. So I have to find someone with a pleasant voice, and so we have to do that, and it's quite expensive. So I haven't done it yet.
It is quite expensive.
Well, if you get to that point, I have somebody I can refer you to. He's very good at it.
Well, I would love it offline. I would love the referral.
Okay, all right, I'll send you the info.
Though I have thought that maybe I should have a woman read it.
You want an old West
Because
Texas gal to do it for you?
uh, I just think that my books uh, with a woman's voice would be better,
Yeah.
especially Murder by Storm, because so much of the book and the next book, Murder by Trial, the next book coming out, also, uh, so much of it is from uh, number one, Marilyn's viewpoint and what Marilyn has to deal with and how Marilyn plays the cards that she's been dealt. And also, there is a love romance in the book that is kind of comical. I put it in there as it both is part of my challenge intellectually, but also uh, it's kind of more comical relief because you can't just be chasing each other around in every page. You got to have something where you can relax and enjoy it too.
Mhm.
And I have an older couple, O.C. Sims, the protagonist in the book, and he's in this romance with this woman. And OC's about 50. And uh, one of the unfortunate things about poor OC is he gets shot in every book I write. So he has a few hoes in him. Okay. So this is a 50-year-old man that's been shot up a little bit. So he has some broken parts, and how comical it is that as they tried to have uh, romantic nights and that sort of thing. It's kind of comical,
Well, 50 is
and
not old.
uh, it is if you have 4 or 5 bullet holes in you.
Okay, I see the point.
Here's a copy of Russell's book. I've not read it yet, Russell. I did buy the printed copy because I wanted to actually have one to hold in my hand because it's a beautiful, beautiful book.
It's the most
And
beautiful cover I could ever imagine. I just love that lightning strike down the middle and the Murder by Storm, the words being broken. Because if you look at it, the words are broken. I
yeah,
just
I
think
see
it's
that.
brilliant. And that's Marilyn standing in the high rise where she lives because she lives a very elegant life. Uh, it's just paying for it that she has to work at.
So there's Maryland, the back of Maryland,
Yes.
and then there's what she's seeing from her high rise. I think that's a beautiful. If you're right, it's a beautiful cover. And so yay. So talk a little bit about your publishing experience. The, between the two books or both books or so what have you felt? Did you ever consider going for an agent and
No,
being
I'm not nice enough, nor do I have time to. Uh, I'm 67 years old. I was a practicing lawyer until probably maybe a year ago. I didn't have the time, and I'm not quite nice enough to chase down agents half my age trying to get them to pursue my book. The first book I did independently. And by the way, as you asked that, I just noticed Amazon is cutting off the independent download of books, which I don't know if that's a true headline or not, but that was a headline that came across my reading this morning.
what does
That
that
Amazon
mean?
is changing. I don't know. I just know that Amazon is changing the way that authors can download their books, which is the way I first did it. And uh, I got to tell you, uh, then I had someone help me on the second book, and Murder by Storm, and we republished the first book. But I got to tell you about this award. Sandy, how I am about algorithms and uh, promoting books, and I'm about to start the a online promotion of Murder by Storm, and the Fire Book Award is going to be central to that because when you do these promotions, you only have a very, very few words that you're able to put in them. And
That's
you
true.
need a hook to that readers that might be interested in your book, because there's millions of books out there. There's millions of books. The question is, how do you get your book in front of the people that want yours? And I got interrupted for a second. I'm sorry about Wi-Fi, but and and that's the challenge. And the Fire Book Award is a game changer for me. Everybody should sign up to try to be a part of your book contest next year, because
I think
it's a
so
game
too.
changer.
Thank
It's
you.
going to be the hook that I use in all my online.
Now, you mentioned just a minute ago the next book, Murder by Trial. What's the timeline on that one as far as being published? Are you there?
Yes, Murder by Trial.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Murder by Trial is the next book. And because for each book that I write, I have some kind of weird new intellectual challenge. And I wanted to write a book about a trial. And I wanted to put it somewhere strange, would be my hometown in Amarillo, Texas. So I'm writing about a uh, trial in Amarillo, Texas, which is a small town, 150,000 people, right? And much like the Blood and Money book, uh, or there's been two or three really, really famous people that's had trials in Amarillo, Texas, for some bizarre reason, and the town just goes crazy. And I want to write about that too. And so I'm going to. That's what my next book about. And I want to put a murder in it, of course.
Of course. Of course. It wouldn't be murder by trial unless there was a murder. So, but what about Maryland? Is Maryland
It
going to
wouldn't
be
be
in it?
fun either.
That's true.
Well,
I can
well,
tell you that Russell has some very
I,
extreme ideas where murder is concerned because I've read some of his things that never were published. I remember the one that he
okay,
sent to me.
I got to tell you,
You want me to
I got
say,
to tell
okay,
you a story about Maryland. It's a weird story.
okay, I finished telling about the book that I don't remember what book this was, but you sent it to me to look at. And I'm like, oh my God, when I read the first page, I'm like, Russell is going to kill this little kid. Because was talking about this little kid and stuff. I'm like, Russell, I'm not going to work on this book if the little kid gets killed. So, okay, now go ahead and talk about it, Maryland.
Okay, I got to tell you a story about Maryland too. When I first started writing the first book, uh, Maryland didn't have that name. And one night I dreamed that she came to me. She was sitting on my chest. She grabbed my shirt and she was shaking. That's not my name. My name is Marilyn. And so the next morning, I turned to my wife. I said, I had a dream about Marilyn. And she's like, who's Marilyn? Right. And I said, it's the name, it's the name of the murderer in my book. She came to me in the night and told me her name was Marilyn. My wife said, you're creeping me out. Don't tell me stuff like that anymore.
So what was her name before that?
Catherine, which is nothing.
Catherine?
That was not a name. Marilyn was her name. And that was 10 years ago. And I've lived with this woman and all of her plans and she's a character in my mind. I've met two people like this in my career, in my life. Two people like Marilyn. And this is really a merger of these two people. And I always thought that they were not like the rest of us. They're a different subspecies. They were born wolves and we're sheep. And that's Marilyn. She's a wolf and we're sheep. The trouble with OC is, he can figure stuff out, but he's still a sheep. And that's the battle.
That's awesome. I love to hear from authors their take on their characters. And I remember you had told me once that you had a dream about Marilyn. And I didn't remember that that's when she got her name, though. I just remember that you had a dream about her. And
Oh, yeah.
you said you were just like obsessed with her for a while because of every time you just couldn't get her off your mind and thinking about her, writing about her. So, and then we had this wonderful experience of the only time in my career that as a publicist and having something become almost viral was when one of your friends took a copy of the book and took a picture of it in somewhere at Greece or somewhere and showed the island in the background. And for the longest time, people were just all of a sudden posting a picture of them with Maryland with your book all over the world on a cruise ship and other places. It was amazing. It was so much fun to wait and see where's Maryland going to be next.
It was. And to this day, Sandy, I take Marilyn with me. The book, I take her with me everywhere and take pictures with us when we travel. Like when we were in Japan last year, I took pictures. And I got to tell you, my wife is sick of it. She's sick of it. She's like, why don't you just go with Marilyn? I'm like, I wouldn't go anywhere with Marilyn.
I can see that.
Marilyn, where's Waldo?
Yeah, but she's nobody that you want to find.
But did you answer the question about whether Marilyn is in trial by fire or not?
I'm not answering that question. They'll have to wait. They'll have to wait.
That's the suspense for us that are the readers and your readers.
Right, because I'm not going to talk about what happens to Marilyn at the end of Murder by Storm. You have to read it.
Right, I did. I wasn't going to ask you that. I just wanted to know if she's going to be in the book.
And it's like, you don't know. I got to tell you, I had an editor as they were working with me through the rewrites of Murder by Storm, screaming at me when they first found out that there was a dog in the book. Because he comes on about chapter 6 or 7, and the editor was, you cannot kill a dog in a book. They'll hate your book. They won't read your book. You'll get terrible reviews. And I was like,
so the dog gets killed?
I did not say that. You have to wait because, there's a dramatic end and it's a big battle and you don't know what's going to happen till it's over.
Well, I'm telling you, I've got to be reading this book in Mexico. I can tell that now for sure. As a matter of fact, I'll probably buy it on my Kindle. That way I don't have to take books in my suitcase.
I'm a big believer in that. I am too. I like Kindle, especially when you travel, because books really can add weight to the
Kindle weighs the exact same amount, whether you have one book on it or 50 books on it.
Plus you have emails, blah blah blah.
So I will be reading that. So you never went for an agent for the publishing in the publishing.
I never did. I never even was interested in it. It's, to me, it was, especially for the first book. And you've heard me say this before. The first book, the intellectual challenge was writing a book, but you haven't really written the book in my mind unless you put it out there. You got to put it out there. You got to expose yourself to the public. As I would say, you have to let people see how stupid you are. You got to let them see who you are. And not till then did I feel like I had written a book. So I didn't really care about the agent. And in fact, when that first book came out, I tried to give away as many books as I could. I was
Yes,
happy
you
to give
did.
away books because that was the intellectual challenge. Here, see for yourself whether I've accomplished this or not. Uh,
One,
I did not do that for Murder by Storm. It was a whole different set of challenges.
oh, okay. So because I remember when we had your book launch, the book launch in person party,
I gave all the
at
books.
every book we gave away. Now, I made a deal with him because at first I was like, oh no, we're not giving all the books away. But one of their friends had made cookies, big cookies, and they had a picture of the book on every cookie. So what we did was gave the books away and sold the cookies. So the cookies sold for $5 and you got a free book with it. So that worked out really well. We had a lot of people there. It was really everything went really well. I thought on the book launch and after that actually. So it was a great first book. I thought great you because you had a lot of ideas. When he said we're going to do algorithms, I'm like, oh dear. He doesn't know I'm not that great in math. So I never learned algorithms. I just Russell did the algorithms and I did the marketing piece of it. But we had some great ads and you had some good results, not whopping good results, but we had good results. Okay, go ahead.
And let me tell you, the book award's going to change the algorithms for me too. I can tell you that. I will be a because I was fortunate enough to be in the contest and to get this award. And this doesn't just go for me, but this goes for all the people, all the novelists, all the authors that you've helped in the awards. You have given them an ability, if they understand algorithms, to actually reach in and have a better chance to get to the readers that might be interested in their book too, which is the biggest challenge of all. It's a bigger challenge than writing because there's millions of books out there, right? It changes everything. And algorithms is what we all live by, whether we know it or not. It's the
Yeah.
real secret. It's the real Harry Potter magic in the real world is algorithms. And to understand those is to understand the real world.
And you did definitely understand those. You knew exactly how to use those to analyze what we were doing and also make predictions about where to go for the next algorithm. So we were changing that up every few days, if I remember correctly. So that was great.
What
Um,
what has been your readers' reaction to the book? Have you had any real interesting comments about it or
I,
adamant comments?
I am, how do I say this, Rita? I have been shocked at how positive the responses have been. Uh, but one of the funniest responses I got from a reader was just 2 days ago. Was they were like, they told me this. I didn't know how to take it at first. They said, I can only read a few of your pages at once. I love it, but I know what you're doing to me. And I get very tense while I'm reading it. And I know you mean that on purpose. And I know you've accomplished it and you have accomplished it. But then I have to rest. And then I come back the next day and read two or three more. But I know what you're doing to me. This is what the reader said.
and
I
we've
didn't
all
know how
had
to take
authors
that.
do that to us. Yes, we've had authors do things like that, keep you in suspense, put you in a cliffhanger, all those things. Yes, absolutely. I agree. You do that to people. And so I think that's a gift you have that you can do that with your words. So that's awesome. So,
Uh,
so what are your future plans with the book? Do you plan to try to get them on Netflix or something?
no, uh, this is something I haven't ever talked about on any other podcast. I have had a I have had a couple of reach outs on to be put by, one of the way movies are chosen by all the producers and financiers is you have people go with pitches. They take a stack of pitches. They pitch one thing. Well, you don't like that? How about this? How about this? How about this? And I've had someone explaining to me a picture about perhaps putting the book in their stack, which is, I for me, I felt I was very honored by that,
Oh yeah, I would be
to
too.
be in their stack. Now I don't think I was going to be very high. I think I would be pretty low, but
You don't know that though.
well, one must stay humble. One must know.
Ah,
One must not uh, delude oneself, right? Uh, I love the book. Uh, my intention is with this book is my main intention is in the next book, and that's really where my obsessions have gone, because I am my intention and my intellectual challenge in the next book is to create a character both uh, annoying to the reader and obsessively rememberable by the reader. I don't know if you've ever read Confederacy of the Dunces. Rita, have you ever read it?
No, uh-uh.
It's a Pulitzer Prize winning book from the 20s. It's about life in New Orleans in the 20s. And there's this one uh, really repulsive star character of the book that you both can't stand and can't quit thinking about. I want to write a character like that. And in writing the next book, I worked on that. I was like 6 chapters in, and I was like, it's not happening. That line's not working. It's not happening. Chapter 7, all of a sudden, the the character was there. I had them. So I have the character that is both incredibly annoying and almost repulsive, but not grotesquely repulsive, but incredibly annoying. And it's something you would think about if you had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and take your new puppy out. It might come up in your mind because it's so there. Which I've been doing a lot of like last night, 2:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to take my 15-week-old puppy out, freezing. I want a character that my readers even then come up with. And that's what I'm working on. And that's my real challenge. So if you want to know where I'm really want to go in my heart, is in my heart, what I want to do is in Murder by Trial, Trial by Murder. See, I don't even have the title down yet. It's all prelim, but is to have that character that people can't forget.
Well,
Murder
Russell,
by Trial. That's it.
I have been watching a series on Acorn called The Killing, and there is a character on there. And I was telling Sandy, this is the most amazing thing I have watched in years. And come to find out, she had watched it too. But there's a character in there exactly like that. He's the Holder is his name. He's a detective, and he's just a piece of work, man. And you want to hate him, but you can't. And you're rooting for him, to be the good guy instead of the other guy. And
I hate it when somebody does that to me. Makes me want the bad person to be the winner, to win.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want the bad person.
Okay,
well,
let me just tell you.
Down deep. I'm sorry, Russell. Go ahead.
Let me just tell you two things about this character that, and you can tell I'm obsessing like about this guy. Same way I'm obsessed about Mary. There's that chihuahua. And the first one is that he spits when he talks. Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
Can you imagine anything worse?
Not really. No.
Unless it gets
when
a foot from you and spits.
No, he can't help it. He spits. Oh, it's so gross. And the other thing about this guy is he has no awareness of what to say and not to say to any particular person. So he's always saying the exact wrong thing. So he imposes himself in groups, and then he immediately says something that makes everyone freeze.
Now, is this your cop that's been the protagonist? No?
This is somebody new.
This is who he wants to create.
Yeah, my cop that's been chasing through, that will be in the next book too, is he's also been the comical relief through all the books. Because Rita, you asked, I've had several readers ask, why is O.C. Sims, that's the name of the cop, why does he walk around with his pants so high? Because his pants are like up to above his belly button. They're like, what is that? One of the funniest things about OC is he has a mustache that doesn't move with the rest of his face or lips. It moves independently. You've seen a guy like that before. Both of you, surely you've seen that before. And the one person I know that had a mustache like that, I never could hear what he was saying because I couldn't do anything but look at that mustache while his mouth was moving, because it didn't move with his mouth. It moves differently. How is that? And Rita, that's the kind of thing, that's some of the things that people are, how does that? What is that?
I think it's interesting that you noticed that about somebody and then you put that in your book.
Sandy, could you not notice a person with a bug on the face?
I know. But I'm not an author, so putting that in a book never would occur to me.
Well, Maryland is the grouping of two people that what she does is things that you would never think to write about either, that are what real humans are like. Because I've seen it, been with it, known it. And I couldn't tear my eyes away then any more than I could with the bug mustache.
I think it's great. I can't wait to read this book. I mean, I was already wanted to read it. Now I can't wait after hearing about this. But that's not in this book, though. The person you're talking about, that his mouth doesn't move with his mustache.
Yes, that's OC. He's in all the books.
Oh, he's in all of the books.
Oh, yes. And OC is trying to romance this woman. And like I told you, Rita, a while ago, he's 50 years old. He has several bullet holes in him because in every book he gets shot. It's a thing. Okay. So, if he's in Murder by Trial in the next book, somehow he's just a witness in the trial, he's going to get shot because he always gets shot. I love shooting OC. It's funny. and he gets shot. And in Murder by Storm, he gets shot because he always gets shot. And then he's trying to romance this woman, but he has a bullet hole in him. And, those things don't get well for a long time.
Well, Russell, this has been absolutely fascinating. I have enjoyed the laughter and getting to know you a lot better. I knew of you, but not a whole lot about you. So this has been very enlightening.
I've been so excited for this. I'm so honored by you, by both of you, and I'm so grateful.
It's so great and honored. I'm so glad not that there was not a lot of great authors, and I really want them to keep submitting their books. But I was excited when I saw that you had won winning, so that was great. Seeing all the votes for you coming in and all that stuff, that was fun thing to do. So we hope, those of you watching, we hope you've enjoyed this visit with Russell Little. as much as we have, and hope you'll join us again every Tuesday morning when we bring to you Books on Fire. So keep those books burning.